Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to more Zero Hour. Welcome back to another Pro 1v1 match. Today we're here on Tournament Desert and we've got two old expert level players for you. Just before we kick off, I want to give a massive shout out to everyone who's supported me through the YouTube membership and also on Patreon, so I'll put them on screen now. And if you do want to support the channel, you can head over to my channel page and press the join option and select your level. There's loads of different benefits, or head over to Patreon. Now, over the last few weeks, I've had a number of people ask me who are the expert level players in Zero. Now, to be classed as an expert, it's over on a website called gamereplays.org, and that website basically designates who it thinks are the best players in the game. So far there are 20 expert players. I'm going to put those on the screen right now. And I think this list here is in chronological order, so starting from the top down to the bottom, oldest to the newest. Now, some of them are not active anymore, including some of the ones that we're going to actually watch today. But this one is an interesting one for me today because I believe this Mafia Kruznik, which we're actually going to watch, who's up here in the top, is the expert player called bliNd. Now, from all of the experts in the list, I believe there's probably a couple of candidates for the best player of all time, and I think probably a lot of people will say it's probably Xcal. Some people are probably fans of size and stuff, but yeah, well, I think that the majority of people will say Xcal for sure. We also have here Spalding down in the south in the green, and he's playing with the stealth. This is on the original Tournament Desert. You can tell how old this is. I believe this replays from 2011. And then up in the north, we have the tank player, which is Mafia Kruznik, which I believe, if I've got these players the right way around, this Mafia guy is called bliNd, and he's one of the expert players. Now, I think it's super exciting because he is a super solid player. From the few replays of him that I've seen, I've heard really good things about him as well. So yeah, over the next few weeks, maybe we'll watch a few more of the different Zero experts, and you can let me know who's your favorite player, what's your favorite style of play. Like you can already see here, this is a more solid style of play, keeping the CC, going for the double war factory. Times have changed a lot since then, so build orders have adapted and stuff. You don't see Tournament Desert really anymore. You don't see the cars anymore. So yeah, I think actually probably by today's standards, keeping the CC, going one war factory, keeping putting a supply there and getting the mines on it, probably would die by today's standards very quick. A quick TNT on one of the war factories followed by an aggressive tunnel might actually die. But back then there was the terror cars, and you don't want to get hunted first thing into the game. This OE howitzer, which I believe is Spalding, has already stolen a dozer and got a power plant, despite that hijacker actually being detected there. But yeah, unlike in other games, like if you talk about like CSGO and you talk about a pro player, they're considered to be the best. But in Zero, it's a little bit different. The expert players are considered to be the best, and then pros are one level under them. That's the way the Zero community just does it. I don't know how it's quite fallen that way. I think it's just due to the website Game Replays and the badge that they called an expert badge, and then we call anyone who's pro, who's just a level under them, still super good and still super solid, can still win against expert level players. But the experts are overall in 1v1 supposed to be the strongest players. For me, yeah, watching this bliNd guy, which I believe is the tank player here, this is not a great engagement here for him, I don't think, although it does look like he's doing okay. Very close engagement, actually. Only a few units remaining there. I didn't think the blue tank player there was gonna win it. But yeah, it's interesting for me to see bliNd play, which I believe is this blue Mafia Kruznik, as I mentioned. Just because I think probably the most comparable player. I mean, I've only seen a few replays, so probably people from back in the day probably know better than me. But from what I've seen, it's more like a solid, slow kind of play, a bit like Big Size's style play, I think. Like, you rarely see Size doing like an all-in helix or a no eco. Typically doesn't like doing that stuff. And although I've only seen a few replays of bliNd, that's kind of what I think. But we might be wrong. If we watch a few more replays of him over the next few weeks, maybe we'll change our opinion. So, we've got Mafia Kruznik taking over the middle. There's no tunnel here from Howitzer. Like I said before, this replay is from 2011. Over the last several years, actually, we've seen players deviate away from Tournament Desert. Obviously, the cars got removed because they were deemed completely overpowered. This wreck in China is very, very easily. I think this barracks could be taken down a lot quicker here. And looks like a Helix is being prepared, actually, by Kruznik. Or bliNd, if I've got his name correct. He is floating like 5k, but you can see this is a very there's no haste. There's no rush from the Mafia player here. He's not in any kind of rush at all. But yeah, gameplay has developed a lot over the last few years, and yeah, you might see more fast action-packed games now than back then. You would see a lot of players back on TD would keep their CC. You would see Hawkeye often keeping his CC as well, doing a more slow play. But against a really hard rush, against someone who's going to spend all their money on being aggressive and yeah, getting power early on as well. Typically nowadays, I think you'd see that die. I don't think you'd see people keeping the CC, but it's a lot to do with those terror cars that actually started. To the left and right of the center. Only 2 workers selected there is very, very poor, to be fair. Big pop here, and that's quite a bad engagement for the tank player, I believe. Does take down the battle bus, but at what cost is that going to be at? And pretty much every unit there has gone down. There's no chain guns there for Mafia, and he is floating 8.5k, which is kind of crazy. Flame wall. It's not begun, but he has cleared out that bunker already. Should start the flame wall, because you can actually slowly kill the order from that position. Interesting position there for the flamer. You can't actually pass through there on this version of TD. But yeah, he's floating nearly 10k, only 7 minutes into the game is kind of insane. It shows that his production has not been on 100%. There is a Helix out now as well versus Stealth. A little bit questionable whether you do that. Typically, go maybe Gats with chain guns, maybe a few ECMs, and then Napalm MiGs. You might want to do that to take down the battle buses. The Napalm MiGs would take down the battle buses. But a lot of people would also go Vet 2 Battle Masters as well. Make a really solid ground force. Yeah, bunker being established now on the left. Yeah, it's just kind of weird for me to see the tank playing still so slow and methodical at this stage when you know the enemy's already taken power. If the enemy's taken power, then you would surely be trying to kill him as fast as possible. You wouldn't just be sitting back, because the stealth can just spam black markets and get him up in like literally a matter of seconds, or like less than a minute per market. So you kind of want to kill him fast. So I'm surprised at the lack of battle masters, flamers, ECMs, just pushing forward. Okay, there is 3 battle buses out now, so Spalding, I believe it is spending a lot of his money on battle buses. No creep forward of the tunnels or anything like that, and on the right hand side the same. Could clear that outpost with relative ease and creep forward here, but instead he's actually going to push here and now in the middle. And the GLA retreats. Yeah, a little bit hesitant from both sides, really. You still got to remember this is a 12-year-old replay. And strats have developed a hell of a lot since then. Got some MiGs out now, but no napalm. Helix still flying around the base just for a bit of safety in case technical or anything busts through. Bunker now being dropped down on the right-hand side. Worker going to finally creep forward here, but that outpost could just drive forward and just crush it. There was even a time like in early 0 hour where the USA against the GLA, the USA wouldn't even drop dozers. Now it's kind of the norm that you would drop dozers, and then it actually became the meta that you would send terrorists to your supplies, and then the dozer drops happen less. It's weird how that over the years the meta changes, but a lot of these players kind of were playing the game when there was no streams, there was no videos, there was no tutorials. They were playing with the old UI, so they weren't playing with this bigger vision where you can see a lot more stuff. They were probably playing on 800 by 600 resolutions. They were probably zoomed right in like this. And a lot of the players actually laid the foundation for the new strats that came later on. I think notable players like Rage definitely helped change the meta more than certain other players. Like, for example, Rage, I think, invented the boxing of the dozers, as you would say, around supplies. Like, you know, when you would get a dozer box there. I think Rage was the first person I saw do that. But here you can see keeping a CC and playing more solid and floating a lot of cash early on. You can see like 10, 12 years ago is definitely a lot slower and methodical of a play. Both players a little bit hesitant to push out. Looks like spalding is building up his markets. Going to have like 5 markets soon. And we've got a big tank army now in the middle. Still no chain guns and no double veterancy on the Battlemaster. Still quite low XP relatively. You can tell how slow a game it's been by just looking at the XP, because we're almost at nearly 15 minutes. And still no one is on level 3. Yeah, the stealth here wants to be avoiding head-on engagements. You don't really want to be fighting that. You want to be holding that back as much as possible, and you want to be like flanking attack in here, flank attack here. Want to be gaining more ground. Like this worker was very, very slow and has actually died, and now sending forward another one. So yeah, the stealth really wants to, if it is going to fight this, wants to distract the army and then come in from the side of the battle bus. Just chip this away. One battle bus goes down to the hull. Or the fixed mode, whatever you want to call it. Power gets taken out. Would like to have seen a pop there and actually punish that with some MiGs going down, but chosen not to do that. We can actually see tank hackers out and collecting tank hackers everywhere. I definitely don't think you'd see that nowadays, because we've heard various people's opinions about how money is worth more now than it is later, and especially as like tank, by the time these hackers even pay for each other, plus the risk that they could die. It's better for tank to close out games faster, I think, than bunkering in against the GLA. So yeah, I think steering away from hackers as the tank player is better, because they cost like 700 and something, and they're very, very easy to kill, even by like a rebel ambush, or anthrax will completely wreck them. Here comes artillery. It's going to hit the oil. There is a Vetsu quad here. Now, don't really want to fly over that with the MiGs, but you can hit the quads, and then come in and finish this off later. 5 battle buses out now for spalding. Still pumping out the hackers. Just check the I was going to check if there's anyone observing or anything like that, but yeah, there was a point where there was only like one streamer back in the day, which is actually my clanmate who I play with at the moment, which is like Iori, if you know him, Flame Iori. Yeah, back then, if you wanted to stream, it was pretty much he was the only person that would do it. There was CNCHD making videos and stuff, and then I think one day, I think it was after I won the World Series in 2016 or whatever it was, CNCHD wrote to me and said, do you want to start making gameplay videos for Zero? And that's basically what got me into it. The first few videos I actually sent to him, and he uploaded it on his channel, and he sent me some money for the ad revenues, like $6 or something, whatever it was. And then not long after that, I did my own channel, and we quickly got, I think like in one day or something, we got like 600 subscribers. And then just continued posting, continued improving the content, and now here we are with nearly 30,000 subscribers these years later, with 20 hours of stream just over the weekend that we've just done. Just kind of crazy. And I think the level overall right now, or at least over the last couple of years, is higher than it's ever been. You got quite a lot of active experts. Logic is still around. Scuba's still around. Excal's back. Size has been playing pretty much non-stop. Boyka's still around. Fargo's still around, even though he's supposed to have retired again for another 2 weeks. And then he'll be back. Who else is around? Sexy, Crazy. Even Diapollo was playing. Was playing about 6 months ago, something like that. I had a chat with him on the Discord server. He now casts StarCraft 2 and is involved with VSL and Counter-Strike and stuff. And the organization of the events and stuff like that is quite doing quite well for himself. But yeah, this game is very, very slow and methodical. We've actually got a bomb truck out. But yeah, bliNd does not want to push out, apparently. He's just quite happy just chilling here, making hackers, making a nuke. Here comes a bomb truck, but that's going to get shut down. This auto upgrade is ready for the Battle Masters. Lotus now in play. Do we have a radar van for Spalding? That's a good question. I don't think we got any radar van. A lot of people say to me, actually, why don't you build a radar van? It's better for viewers and stuff like that. But a radar van actually does eat up valuable build time, and it costs you $500. I mean, probably for Spalding here, he's got 10k, so he probably can't argue saving up $500. But the thing is, players just become used to playing with no mini map and just playing with what you can see on screen. And when you're used to it, you don't miss the radar. It's sure, when you get it, it's like a nice little added bonus. But when you're so used to playing without it, you don't miss it. So you don't get it in your mind to like, oh, build a radar van. And if you're going to be good in 1v1 or good at the game in general, you need to forget about that minimap pretend it's not there, and actually just learn to play with just what you can see on the screen. Of course, at some point you still will get it, but if you're writing in the comments, oh, why don't you build a radar van better for viewers or whatever? Yeah, it might be better just to look at visually for viewers, but you need to be thinking, if you want to be good at 1v1, you need to just forget about the mini-map. But it is useful sometimes, like you'll see flanking attacks and stuff before you would otherwise. But yeah, it's turning into a bit of a super weapon war at the moment, and do you really want to be in a super weapon war against the GLA? Because the Scud is way better than a nuke. A nuke will hit faster, for sure, but a nuke can't really take it down any GLA buildings. It will always go to the hole before getting rebuilt. Also, the tank's late game economy, like these hackers, are nowhere near as good as the black markets. Would actually like to see a few more black markets from Spalding. I would have liked to have seen him take this flank absolutely ages ago. I can't believe it's 22 minutes into the game and he still hasn't pushed forward and taken that. But is he just scared of the MiGs or something? I think he's just scared of the MiGs. But you would just push there with a load of quads, press X, fan them out, get a tunnel up there, stealth. Well, it's already stealth. Get a few tunnels up there. You would have had a stealth supply there and you would have been collecting from there. But he's just, I mean, he sent 2 workers there and it just went down, but he's not actually challenged it properly. And the same kind of on the left-hand side. He'd lost his oil, but he never really pushed forward, tried to grab any of these buildings, which are still not occupied. Angry mob now in action. I heard a nuke. Ooh. That was actually a very good nuke. 2 battle buses gone down to the hole, plus there were several quads there as well. That one's actually still stealth despite going down to the hole. But yeah, you can definitely see the pace of this particular game. Like a lot of the older replays I have seen, the pace was a little bit slower. But this is, I think this one's a special case. I think this one really is a special case. But one thing is that whilst these players here might be playing slow, and that might be the kind of thing of the era to play things more slow and methodical, is that there's no... If these were the best, or some of the best at their era, there's no saying whether... Well, it's a pretty good indication of if they continued playing through this blind guy, mate. Mainly I'm talking about... If he continued playing now, if he re-picked up the game, would he go back to the top and would he adapt, and would he adapt a more aggressive style? Would he stop making hackers and all that kind of stuff? I think the answer is probably yes. I think once you've got that mentality and that ability to improve, I think you... that ability stays with you, unless you like get really old and really slow and your brain is not as good as it once was, maybe. But you can clearly see he's got a strong mentality here, pushing forward with this massive tank army. But there are several tunnels. There's RPGs, angry mob, loads of battle buses, and this is looking like quite a bad fight for him. He's actually had his overlord sniped. MiG's now coming in on top of the battle bus. This is the biggest bit of action we've seen, actually. Only players are on like 3,000 or 3,500 XP at 25 minutes into the game is kind of insane. And bliNd has been repelled. And Grimob finding all the mines. Artillery comes in on the Scud at the top of the MiGs. Combined with that, the Scud goes down, but the big quad pop there to take down the MiGs. Well, one or two of the MiGs. Nuclear missile is ready to fire. Let's actually see if we can see where this one's going to hit. Need to actually change some settings.
No system is safe.
Seems to be saving that nuke for now. Doesn't really know what to hit. He hasn't had any vision really back here. I don't know if he's got the satellite hack on his... Oh, does he even have an internet center? Don't think he has an internet center. He's just spread all the hackers around. Angry Mob now pushing forward. There's a few gats here. He still doesn't have the chain gun upgrade. Spalding is now floating 17k. He just needs another 10k and then it'll be considered a big size float. Yeah, this is going to get pretty hard now.
China is under attack.
For the tank. The nukes might be able to delay the GLA. But really, if he's got 20k, you can just start spamming now from like 4 war factories. You can just start spamming from like 4 war factories. Does Spalding have the AP ammo? No. Yeah, no AP ammo, no junk repair. By today's standards, that's very, very poor. You would definitely, you definitely want to have the upgrade, especially AP ammo, buggy ammo. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'd have had more markets, 4 or 5 war factories, buggies, AP ammo quads, maybe a mix and a battle bus, creep forward to tunnels and stuff like that. You'd be gaining ground everywhere, and every fight you have is more beneficial for you because you're getting the bounty money. A big line of AP ammo quads backed up by buggies. There's no way this army here for the tank is going to be dealing with that. But that said, there are 5 nukes out. It's definitely a weird style game compared to today's standards, that is for sure. Got a nuke ready to fire. Let's see if we can follow this one actually. I have a feeling it's going to hit the army, so Spalding here is probably going to be pretty reluctant to pop. Takes down the Scud that was building. And frags bomb here in the middle. Now this is deadly, especially on the tournament desert. You drop it in the middle, it usually stops all your trucks, kills any weak units. You see a lot of units actually very weakened or even dead. But this game continues. I can't see any end anywhere near in sight, to be honest. But yeah, there should be more markets. Should be more of a creep forward to tunnels. Even though he's doing it a little bit, there should be more of that. I think some of these should be stealthed. You probably want to have one tunnel in the back of your base somewhere, just in case like a massive load of helixes show up or something like that. Sneak attack deployed in the tank's base, but the helix is right there. Oh, he pops anyway, though. And actually, that helix is going to go down very, very quick. And this is why you don't want to be against the GLA late game, because now your hackers are going to start to die. The GLA base isn't going to take any damage anytime soon from the nukes. He's probably not going to nuke his own base here, although I have a feeling he might, actually. You probably wouldn't want to do it, but I have a feeling it actually might happen. This is why you don't want to camp for stealth, really. Nuke has been fired, and it is in his base. Okay. Wow, that's actually a really decent nuke. How did that prop survive? Those buildings took next to no damage, and he killed every GLA unit there. Here comes another nuke. That's going to be here, on top of the scud. But you see, the GLA can take these shots. Here comes the artillery, though. The artillery will finish that off. Spalding's floating nearly 25k. So this is getting to big size levels now of floating. Artillery, I think, will finish that off. To be honest, I thought this game. I knew this game was going to be a little bit slow, but I actually forgot how slow it was going to be. We still got no chain guns up, but actually, Mafia bliNd is running out of cash now. Here comes a potential EMP or a tank drop or mines. Probably an EMP though. I don't even know what it was, to be honest. What the hell? Did he drop off some tanks that I missed? Maybe he dropped off some of these tanks and I missed it. Here comes a carpet bomb. That's going to be a pretty good hit. It's going to be a load of battle buses that are not being moved out of the way. And the radar van that's finally been built has gone down. No junk repair. No more war factories. No more angry mobs or anything like that. Spalding seems a little bit unsure about what to do at the moment. Angry Mob attempts a little bit of aggression there, but does not achieve anything. And this is looking pretty good for the tank, actually. I'm just surprised about how much cash that Stealth is floating here. Just does not seem sure about what to do. He's got the AP rockets upgrade, but I don't believe he has AP ammo. No, not AP ammo. So I've been making like 20 workers from there, drop down like 50 arms dealers. Getting loads of buggies out and AP ammo quads and dropping down loads of tunnels. That combo there will eventually grind this down. You'll be getting the bounty money. You just got to hold on. That's actually a missed GPS scrambler there. Missed the battle bus, didn't it? You just got to hold on because your economy is crazy compared. Here comes another nuke. Okay, that's hit the only scud that's out for Spalding. He's finally dropping down another arms dealer, but it's quite a few minutes late. And bliNd has now got the upgrades for his tanks, although he hasn't upgraded this Battlemaster speed and Battlemaster shot that you actually get from the nuke silo. Angry Mob there on the right hand side does go down. And the CC is now going to be focused, and this is looking bad for the Stealth, actually. The Stealth really should have won this by the amount of cash that he had. But you can just tell this is older, strategy's less developed. Now it's quite clear to me what you would do in this situation, but to him here, obviously in this era, was not sure, and he's against 6 nukes. Yeah, I thought from that sneak attack, I thought actually the tank might be dead, but it's kind of flipped on its head, and now the Stealth is looking dead, and he's got $42,000 in the bank. Can hear another nuke, and this GLA is really getting nuked back to the Stone Age. I suppose nukes normally don't do a lot against GLA, that all of these buildings will reheal, but when you've got so many nukes, you can actually make them work. If you nukes that again, they will all go down if you use the support power there. But these fully upgraded Battlemasters now, this is probably what you should have seen earlier, really. ECMs, Battlemasters, a few GATs mixed in there as well. Maybe an outpost stopping the hijackers. And should have been pushing forward, maybe a few flamers. Just a real mix of units. And you push into these tunnels, the Battlemasters dish out all the major damage. And yeah, there's not a lot these tunnels can do. Nuke almost goes down there. I believe that's another angry mob, but the MiGs just keep circling around and just hitting him again. Got another nuke ready to fire. Doesn't take down the Scud though, because he's waited for that to actually rebuild a bit. So it's almost dead, but not quite. And bliNd continuing the push. It's just a clear-up operation at this point because the stealth doesn't really have a lot left. Here comes the angry mob straight into an Emperor though with the Gatling on top. There's Jean Kell inside of the palace taking out some red guards, but that's all he's going to do really. The ECMs and the battle masters here should be able to clear up the rest with relative ease. 2 more nukes ready to fire. Here comes the MiGs on the bunker. It's all kind of heated up in these last few moments really. There's been a few big battles, but not many throughout this replay. But I'm also sure if you looked at another game, let's say like Counter-Strike or any other game from 12 years ago, I'm sure the meta, gameplay, the levels have all increased and changed a lot over the years, and no different here, I don't think. It's actually making heavy troop crawlers now. Emperors, Battle Masters. Where's that nuke going to go this time? I think it's probably over here. He's trying to rebuild the supply. He's just literally trying to nuke him off the map now. I think he's only got 1 building left. He's only got 1 building left, which is that barracks. And OE Howitzer, which I believe is Spalding, is defeated. So yeah, a very different game to what you would see today. I think I have seen that replay once before, maybe when it came out like 10 years ago or something like that. But I couldn't really remember who won, and I couldn't remember exactly how slow it was. I knew the tank did a slow opening, but not that slow. Like he kept CC, did 1 war factory. By today's standards, if he went and played if that same player there went and played a modern player now, just like an aggressive GLA, probably would get wrecked very, very quick, I think. But yeah, it's 12 years ago, or right, 2011. What are we in now? 2022. Yeah, so 11 years ago. So yeah, things have changed a lot. But yeah, that is expert player bliNd. Now Spalding actually is still playing as well, but he doesn't really play 1v1s against the high level players. But he is still around and still active on the forums and stuff like that. But yeah, bliNd I haven't seen him for many, many years, and I don't know if he'll come back. But it would be super interesting for me to see him come back and spam for a year. Would he get up to like top 5 or top 6 or top 3 or even rank 1? Would he be able to do it? I don't know. Based on that there, you would say probably no. But for that era, I believe he was one of the strongest for sure. So yeah, GG, well played. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and let me know if you want to see any other experts, or is there any other experts on that list that you haven't seen before that you do want to see going forward. Let me know in the comments, and I'll read everything, and I'll try and reply back to you and try and cover off some more experts in the future. So yeah, GG, well played.